Prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
All right, welcome back. Fred Dwyer with Mike Horn. Thomas, let me have that soundbite again we just went off with.
Rick Perry, the governor of Texas, Republican presidential candidate now, says the men and women of the United States military want someone who's worn the uniform. He says he served in the Air Force. Do you see a comment like that he makes referring to you as disrespectful to the commander-in-chief?
You know, Mr. Perry just got in the presidential race, and I think that everybody who runs for president, it probably takes them a little bit of time before they start realizing that this isn't like running for governor, or running for senator, or running for Congress. And you've got to be a little more careful about what you say.
We have to be careful.
I'll cut him some slack. He's only been at it for a few days now.
Yeah, look, get in the back of the bus, you know, like you told all the other Republicans. That's what you did. You got into office and you said Republicans are going to have to get in the back of the bus. You're running the show now, and we got Obamacare. He never listened to anybody. That's how he governs, because that's how a unqualified, irresponsible street hustler from Chicago, this guy who knows nothing, who has no idea what to do in the office of being a senator and representing a constituency to America. This guy, for him to say this is just more politics, more propaganda, and Wolf Blitzer is yet one of the peddlers and one of the facilitators of this lying machine. Get ready, folks. It's going to get worse than this.
Obama a little green on the job. I mean, the biggest business deal I think he ever cut before he got into office was maybe negotiating the sale of his house or buying his house. That's the only business deal. He was first-term senator. What's the deal? And he's already president.
Oh yeah, he's been destroying the country for 2.5, going on 3 years now, and that gives him the station and the license in the conversation to speak with respect and wisdom, so he can pass it on to his opponent. How gracious of him, this commie.
Karl Rove makes some comments on Rick Perry's statement about Ben Bernanke printing. If he prints money, it's close to being treasonous.
Look, it's his first time on the national stage, and it was a very unfortunate comment. You don't accuse the chairman of the Federal Reserve of being a traitor to his country, of being guilty of treason.
You don't?
And suggesting that we treat him pretty ugly in Texas, you know, that's not, again, a presidential statement. And if Rick Perry were to be elected president, he would be saddled with Ben Bernanke, who has a term. He's the independent chairman of the Federal Reserve Board. He's appointed by the president, confirmed by Congress, and serves for a term. So the president couldn't even ask him to resign. So this was. I hope that this is not the first of sort of over-the-top statements.
I hope it is.
In a politics. You know, look, President Obama already comes close to accusing people of being anti-American. Accused me of being a '60s-style radical. I mean, I don't remember trying to bomb
you're a subversive, Carl.
any federal buildings. Yeah, exactly. So we ought to step back from this, and I think the governor. It's not smart politics either. The governor.
That's
Governor
the problem.
It
is smart politics.
The impression that he's a cowboy from Texas. This simply added to it by accusing somebody of being guilty of being a traitor to his country. Look, when Al Gore did that to George Bush in 2004, I thought it diminished Gore and didn't, you know, hurt Bush. And similarly, this diminished Perry, and Bernanke can't say anything about it. By tradition, the Federal Reserve Chairman has to remain mute when these kind of things happen. But
let me tell you something. Karl Rove, the architect of the destruction of the conservative movement in this country. He and the other guy, the coke sniffing president we had there on third base with the Texans. This guy here, this reclaimed guy who they ran for president on the platform of compassionate conservatism, destroyed the conservative movement. And this jackass now is giving us a talking to about what Rick Perry should do. He shouldn't say anything. He's not qualified to say anything, Karl Rove. And by the way, if you don't say this to these people, if you don't say it to Bernanke and let him know where you stand, and speak up and let people know that the Federal Reserve is at the very root of the unwrapping of America, then you're irresponsible. You should be jailed.
Rick Perry now responds to President Barack Obama, who said he should watch out for statements as well. President Barack Obama agreeing with Karl Rove. Here's Rick Perry's back.
Yesterday, President said I needed to watch what I say. I just want to respond back, if I may. Mr. President, actions speak louder than words. My actions as governor are helping create jobs in this country. The president's actions are killing jobs.
Don't define it through jobs. You have the perfect opportunity to talk to him above that. You have the perfect opportunity to tell him where you stand in your beliefs as a leader, not a CPA. Don't give us the CPA version of an excuse to answer him. Don't answer the president, who is a licentious reprobate, who is destroying the economic standards of this country through the dispiriting of the American people. We got to this point because the American people think so little of themselves, are willing to give up God, are willing to give away their children and their unborn children to a politic, and they're willing to be raked over the coals and having all the things that they have earned in life taken from them by a confiscatory politic, a leftist Eurotrash politic. And now he's telling us. Now he's telling us that we should really understand that he's there to create jobs. That's not what I want to hear from Rick Perry. That goes right to what I was talking about earlier today. We opened up the show as how you talk to the base is going to get you elected. That is great that he would come right out and address what Barack Obama said. That's great. But you got to talk above X's and O's and what 2 and 2 is. You got to talk about leadership. That's not it.